Emma Sam's just proof that when people talk about size, they aren't always talking about something you can measure with a tape but about something much bigger, the kind of presence that fills a room, steals a scene, and makes you stop scrolling because you can't look away, and that's exactly why her name continues to resonate long after her earliest roles first made her a household figure. Because she embodies the kind of serene strength that doesn't need to shout to be heard, the kind that whispers yet demands attention, the kind that lingers with you after the screen goes dark, and when you watch her, you see why so many describe her presence as huge, not in a shocking or exaggerated way but in a way that feels timeless, graceful, and unforgettable, because Emma doesn't rely on over-the-top tricks or gimmicks to hold an audience, she does it with authenticity, with eyes that tell a full story, with a smile that softens even the hardest edges, and with a voice that carries like an intimate conversation rather than a performance, and that's why fans continue to admire her, not just for what she wore on red carpets or how she looked in photos but for the way she carried herself with elegance and poise, reminding everyone that true beauty is never loud but deeply felt, and what makes her stand out even more is how she's used that same presence off-screen, giving her time, energy, and heart to causes bigger than herself, showing that her size isn't just cinematic but deeply human, and that's a kind of beauty that no lens can fully capture, and when admirers describe her with words like steady, gentle, and sophisticated, they are pointing to something rare, something that goes beyond surface appeal into the realm of character, dignity, and compassion, and in a world where fast clicks and fleeting trends dominate, Emma's ability to remain timeless is a victory all its own, because she reminds us that being graceful over time is far more powerful than chasing every passing spotlight, and when you look at her performances, whether it's the regal calm of a primetime role or the emotional spark of a soap character, you see how she commanded the screen not with noise but with subtlety, with patience, with a kind of belief in herself that made every tiny gesture matter, and that is a skill many aspire to but few ever master, because it requires not only talent but conviction, the quiet conviction that being real is more compelling than being loud, and this is why even her photos carry weight, because behind the tasteful clothes, the classic hairstyles, and the natural glow, there is confidence, the kind of confidence that doesn't beg for approval but simply exists, radiating outward, reminding you that when the inside is calm and assured, the outside will shine without trying too hard. And some of those pictures make you pause not because they scream for attention but because they reveal a woman fully aware of her identity, standing tall, unbothered, and inviting you to witness the quiet power of someone who knows herself, and that's the twist behind the idea of huge size. It's not about clickbait exaggerations or cheap tricks, it's about recognizing when presence is real, when the image respects the person it captures, when the aura of dignity and self-possession leaps out of the frame, and that's why Emma Sam's remains unforgettable, because every time she appears, she reminds us that the most lasting kind of size isn't about spectacle, it's about memory, about the impression that stays with you long after the scene or the photo fades, and if you think back to the moment you first became a fan, maybe it was a powerful performance, maybe it was a heartfelt interview, or maybe it was a single still image where she looked directly into the camera with calm assurance, you'll realize that what hooked you wasn't hype but truth, the truth of her presence, the truth of her poise, the truth of her compassion, and that kind of bigness doesn't fade with time, it only deepens, making her not just a classic star but a lasting influence, and that's why Emma Sam's continues to make people look twice, because she carries herself with style, grace, and an authenticity that never goes out of fashion, and in a world full of noise, that is the kind of size that truly matters, and Starbuzz sees this as a rare gift. Because in today's fast-moving culture where attention spans shrink and everything is consumed in moments, the ability to leave such a lasting imprint is extraordinary, and Emma does it without needing to reinvent herself for every trend. Instead, she stays true to her essence, which is why each generation that discovers her finds the same qualities so magnetic, and this quality of timeless appeal makes her an icon in a deeper sense, not just remembered for past roles but admired continuously for how she represents herself now, with dignity, warmth, and confidence that only grows richer with experience. And this is what makes her so compelling, because while many chase relevance by being louder or flashier, Emma Sam's shows that presence, authenticity, and grace are the true markers of size, the kind of size that never fades but becomes even more powerful with time.